Hello and welcome back to Clownfish TV. It is me, Geeky Sparkles, and it's just me today because Kneon is elsewhere. But guess what? We're going to talk about one of my favorite things to talk about, She-Ra, because I love She-Ra. If anybody's followed the channel for a while, then you know how I feel about She-Ra and the cartoon version of the show and all that. But now we're going to get the movie, supposedly. Now, this isn't new. We already knew they were going to do the movie. They talked about it before. It was under somebody else, and now it disappeared for years. They haven't said much about it for like 2 years. And now suddenly it's back, but now it's a different person. But the thing is setting people off is the fact that they're saying it's not going to be connected to the DreamWorks cartoon show. And, you know, of course, the reeing can be heard from everywhere. So, well, not so much because there isn't that many of them, but you know what I mean? In those circles, there's a lot of screeching. So anyway, before we get into it any further, please like and subscribe. If you do, I'll give you a woohoo, and we're going to talk about this. So we know they're doing the He-Man Masters of the Universe film. And they're supposed to be doing one for Amazon for She-Ra as well. And then it disappeared for a bit, but now there's news that's moving forward. Of course, it doesn't mean it's going to happen anytime soon. We keep hearing this, and then, you know, things go away for years, and then, oh, by the way, and then there's a new person attached to it, and then 2 years later, another new person attached to it. Supposedly, we're going to be getting the She-Ra show. So it's going to be on Amazon. It's going to be a series. I thought it was supposed to be a movie, but now it's a series. So they said that it's going to be Heidi Schreck is going to be the writer and I think the producer. So the new She-Ra series is in development. Variety learned exclusively that Heidi Schreck has joined the project as writer and executive producer. It was previously reported that Nicole Castle was attached to direct and executive produce, and Robin Sweet will also be executive and producing along with DreamWorks, which is very interesting, and people mention this. DreamWorks is still tied to it. DreamWorks has the rights to She-Ra, but they're not going to be doing more of the cartoon series, so I thought that was kind of interesting. So they're talking about, yeah, DreamWorks produced the animated She-Ra and the Princesses of Power. We all know my opinion on that. And now they were talking about how 2021, it was in early development. Yes, and then a couple years later, they said it was going to be the other person. And now we're coming back again in 2024, and now it's supposed to be this Shrek person. Who knows? Who knows? They said, should the new project go to series? Should it go to series? Okay, so we don't even know yet. It would mark the first live-action adaptation of the She-Ra character. She first debuted on screen in He-Man and She-Ra, The Secret of the Sword, of course, in '85. And then she was part of the Masters of the Universe franchise and had her own, you know, cartoon series, She-Ra Princess of Power, ran for 2 seasons. I love it when people are like, oh my God, like the old show, it only had 2 seasons. Yeah. And in those 2 seasons, there was like, you know, a lot of episodes. They didn't really run for 5 seasons for the other show. I mean, it was basically like, you know, 6 episodes, here's a season. That's not the same. They said ran for 5 seasons. It did not. 52 episodes. It was literally like, you know, 6 episodes here, 8 episodes there. They were pretty much 1 or 2 seasons, you know, broken up into like the Netflix season. So I love when they do that. It got 5. Not really. No, it really, really, truly didn't. But anyway, you know, whatever makes you feel better, bucko. So they're going to go ahead and I guess do the show, supposedly. I'm not going to hold my breath because a couple reasons. 1, we keep hearing this and then it just goes away. 2, we know it's not based on the cartoon, but that doesn't mean it's going to be any better. Like, it can still be a train wreck of epic proportions. I personally am hoping that we get a good She-Ra series, that She-Ra's She-Ra and not a whole other show, you know, with a She-Ra coat of paint on it. I want to actually see, you know, She-Ra be herself. And I'm sorry people are going to get mad about this, but She-Ra, Seahawk had a thing. She-Ra was not LGBTQ. And that toxic relationship with Catra was just, you know, run, girl. Why would you hook up with Catra? She was this downright horrible to you. You need to see a therapist. And I'm sorry if you don't like it. You can kindly kiss my ass. But I have been a She-Ra fan for a long time. I haven't posted anything on my Instagram lately, but you can go to my Geeky Does Disney on Instagram, and you can see I had posted earlier this year a bunch of She-Ra toys because I have a She-Ra collection, you know, and there it is. So you can check that out there if you want to look at those pictures. But I love She-Ra. I always have. And if you've been following the channel for a while, you know that we were doing a lot of videos back when the animated show came out. And I did watch the first 2 seasons fully. I said the second season did improve. The first one was kind of all over the place, and I thought it was too. I understand their target demographic was supposedly children, but yet they were also like putting them in this relationship and shipping everyone, and this person's with this person and everything else. And I was like, I thought this was for children, but we had a certain audience that actually were the ones who watched the show. And when people like me, who were the old audience of the show, were like, okay, I don't really like the costume, they would descend upon it. You're just mad because you can't fap to She-Ra. And I'm like, well, it's kind of funny because you guys are all doing a bunch of, porn, and this version of the character's underage. But it's okay when you do, I guess. So I'm not sure how they're going to portray her in this one. It could be even worse. I'm hoping, please don't be worse. But it's possible, because who the hell knows? The same people who own it are also doing this series, which somebody had pointed that out on Twitter. Yeah, my husband, Kneon, was talking about it because people were saying about how it was going on, and he shared this. And he says that even though DreamWorks is involved, they're the rights holders, it will not be based on the Netflix show. That says so much. And it also doesn't mean it'll be any good, because the upcoming Amazon, MGM Studios, and DreamWorks, so it's 3 different studios, live action series will not be connected to the animated show. And here he tagged me in it, and that was yesterday, and I totally didn't even see it. I mean, I knew about it, but I haven't been on the internet because I've been busy like working on a room. I like this one too. This Danny's hot, not so hot takes. Mattel isn't going back to New Run anytime soon, because when they're focusing on stuff based on the original toys, they're bringing the original character, which we have mentioned several times. They finally did toys for the animated show at the very end. Now, those toys are worth some money because they only did a couple and they waited to the very end of the show. The show was short-lived, and the toys weren't that plentiful. So they actually go for some money if you can find them, or if you care. Don't care, so it's okay. But for all the talk about, well, those original shows were just made to sell toys, you had an audience that bought toys. The reason these brands stayed around so long and have been so relevant culturally for so long is because there was a stronger connection to kids, because they not only watched the show, but they also had the toys, and it was a big part of their lives. There also wasn't as many options back then. Like, you have how many shows now, but when we were kids, there were a lot of shows, but that's what the toy lines were, and that's what was promoted to you. So everybody kind of played the same thing. We don't really have the water cooler moments like we used to, because now there's just so much spread across a lot of different things. But back then it was more targeted. So a lot of us shared the same experiences with watching a show and playing with the toys. That's why it had such a huge audience. And when they're making new things now, classics, Masterverse, that kind of stuff, they step over that cartoon show and go right back to the classic She-Ra, because that is the iconic She-Ra. It also tells me there wasn't much of an audience, except for the vocal minority, isn't that what they called us, that watched the show. And I'm not saying you can not like the show. If you like the show, that's cool. You're allowed to like the show. Like what you like. Who cares? However, I'm allowed to not like it. I think I got to the 3rd season, and I watched the beginning, and I was like, I can't anymore. And then I was out. But you're allowed to like what you like. However, I'm also allowed to like what I like. And I like classic She-Ra. And apparently most people do, which is why they're going back to that. Now, again, we don't know how the movie's going to go. We don't know how they're going to make her, and what relationship they're going to give her, what kind of paint they're going to give her this time. We don't know. What I do know is when Noelle Stevenson had her pitch, and if you read the pitch, we did a video on it, ways back. You can find it if you look through the archive. Her pitch for the show sounded more like classic She-Ra. So I'm not sure what happened between her pitch for the show and then the final show, but they really were far removed from each other, where her original one definitely was much more in line with the earlier show. Of course, we have people out here already, I love this. There's going to be a live action She-Ra series moving forward. Please don't. No one needs that. Give us a She-Ra animated film instead. Okay, save me, Caitlin, or whatever the hell your name is. Now you know what we felt like, okay? She-Ra was from our generation. And people can like it for different versions. That's fine. I mean, new fans are okay. Not a problem. But what happened was, when they announced the show, and I knew as soon as it was Noelle Stevenson what we were going to get, and it was exactly what I expected. When we were told right away that it wasn't our She-Ra. You can like, you have your cartoon. You can watch your cartoon. You can like that one. No one's taking that away from you. Caitlin, no one's taking that show away from you. You can still go watch it, you know? But it's ours now, and you need to get over it. And no, you know, and when people said like me, like, we don't want this, no one asked for this, y'all had a hissy fit. But now you know what it feels like. What you're experiencing now is how we felt when this was announced. And then all the shit we got, the difference is we're probably gonna give you a lot more courtesy, and then you gave us. I mean, how I got called a bad mom because I said I thought she looked like Ben 10. I didn't like her outfit so much. That's all I said. I didn't like the shorts. And because of that, I was called a bad mother. I was a misogynist. I was a racist, all this other crap, you know, targeted at me because I said I didn't like the character design. And other people got it worse, especially if you were a dude, because there were a lot of guys who liked She-Ra. She was part of Masters of the Universe. So of course there's a lot of men who liked her. And they got it down. They got double, triple down on it too, because they completely changed everything about it. If this show, if the Princesses of Power show had been its own thing, which I think it feels like it was meant to be, and it was its own thing, and it wasn't related to She-Ra, and they didn't just like throw She-Ra names on it and She-Ra paint on it, it might have been okay. But when you're a caretaker of a franchise, you change everything about it. You can fully expect to get backlash, and that's what happened. But even before that, it got exacerbated by the fact that the whole PR behind this, and then the people on social media were immediately attacking fans of the old show. Look, you're allowed to like this show. If you do, that's cool. You can still watch your version of the show. None of us know what the show, this new live action show is going to be like. It could be nothing like either show. We don't know. I mean, I'm not even going to dare get any hopes up because one, I do think it's going to probably be in development hell for how long. I think they're waiting to see how the He-Man movie does. And two, last time you try to get the benefit of the doubt, and we got what we got last time. So I don't trust anything anymore. I don't. Wanted more Masters of the Universe, and we got Revelation, and that was a whole train wreck. Now, Revolution, significantly better. It was more like the original show, much, much better. If we can get She-Ra in the vein of, the Revolution, it might not be so bad. If we get Revelation She-Ra, that's going to suck balls. So I'm just hoping that it's good. But again, I don't even get my hopes up anymore because I know if I have no expectations, I won't be disappointed, even though I'll still be disappointed. And until then, I still have the original show, and you have your show, and it's just so old. It's just so tiring and exhausting. It's like, I don't know what else to say about it. Like, oh, they're saying they're moving forward on it. Yippee. Because I don't know what we're going to get. But if it's going by what we've been getting, it's going to suck. And I don't want it to suck. So please don't suck. Anyway, there you go. I will talk to you later. Bye.
Join the reef. Go to clownfish-.com. That's clownfish-.com. You will get exclusive access to podcasts and videos and comic strips and more, as well as merch discounts. Check it out. If you were a member, you could get this t-shirt, this dismal t-shirt, on our website. You'd get a 10% discount on that. You can also join in the community on clownfish-.com. Thank you so much for the support.